yours, out of all the different stories, normally it's people, all the different stories I've heard, normally it's people like me, someone who's like getting into like being a self-sufficient entrepreneur, or someone who's like reinventing the family farm or something, like with a couple of the wineries I've had on. But you, like, you're actively working in your own pawn shop, and that's fascinating.
Well, I
Like,
do have a correction. I actually don't do pawn. I do not have a pawn license, nor do I have any
ah,
interest in getting one. It's just a technicality. Long story short, one of my followers started calling me Pawn Man, and I just loved it, and I ran with that, and the rest is history. But no, I don't have a pawn license. I probably never will. Having a pawn license beckons an entirely new, different kind of clientele and
yeah.
different items coming. Like, when you have a pawn license, you got to buy everything. And like, you inevitably end up stuck with things like power tools, things that like I don't want to sit on. But I do, like if the price is right on anything, I'll buy it. It's just tomato semantics. It's a little bit different the way I operate, but continue.
Yeah, no, that's completely understandable. And I love like the inside knowledge of just like the difference between like pawning and buying and selling. Like, cause I have cause especially down in the southern states, like gold class rings, wedding bands, like those fuckers go missing, and not go missing, but like they go missing, quote unquote, all the time. It's like people are just like, we're tight on cash, let's pawn the engagement ring and we'll get it back when we do, and then it's just never seen again because they lose it or whatever. Like pawning itself, like, it's a business, supply and demand and all that, but inherently can become something that's very like dirty morally.
Yeah, I mean it's pawn businesses are kind of known, just to basically break it down, as being a bank for poor people.
Yeah.
You get, I mean, I've seen a lot of ugly things coming in, a lot of ugly backstories, or just like you put pieces together that are disturbing. It's definitely the underbelly of society, but that's kind of why I dig it, because it's gnarly. It's why I like being an Uber driver. It's
Yeah.
gnarly. You
Yeah.
don't know you don't know what's going to happen next.
Oh yeah. I mean, and as long as you're not just like completely ripping, like if you got like a 20, like a 12 carat wedding band, like what would that normally go for, like at a pawn shop?
Well, the problem is a wedding band, meaning they overpaid for it from the get-go from a
That's
retailer.
fair.
So,
That's
what I hear
fair.
is, oh, I paid $5,000 for this engagement ring.
uh,
Well, what can I say? Jared bent you over backwards and fucked you.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. Can I swear on this? I
Oh
didn't.
fuck yes, you
Yeah,
can
we don't care. Okay,
swear.
this isn't for kids. Okay, good. Uh,
Fuck no.
yeah, if you're watching my live today, I was on a span of some dirty words. I swear a
Yeah.
lot. I try not to on my YouTube show, just because I am trying to cater to like all audiences. But if you know me, you know that I say some pretty awful things, especially when it comes to comedy. Anyway, so no, like when I get engagement rings that were like anything to do with like a wedding, or like somebody bought it brand new in a jewelry store, like,
Oh
oh,
no.
they for sure got raped on the price. And it's like,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna try and pay you fairly, but the number that I'm giving you, that literally everybody around town wouldn't even give you as much, the highest dollar that you're gonna get, you're gonna think I'm fucking you no matter what, just because you paid
Yeah.
so much and you had no idea what you're doing. And now I got to be the bearer of bad news.
How absolutely filthy is the wedding industry? Not just off of the bed, like the entire industry is just a fucking disaster, but the rings itself is a whole nother beast.
Right. Well, I mean, hey, it's no different than the auto industry. Cars don't hold their value. You lose
No.
90% on most of
I
them.
mean,
Same thing with jewelry.
yeah, at least you can drive the car to work to make money to pay it off. But that ring is pretty much
Well,
6 months of
at
just,
least precious metals rise in value too.
yeah.
So in theory, maybe one day you will get your money back on it. Same thing, I guess, with a car too. All cars eventually do go back up if they're more than 20 years old and with a low enough mileage.
Right.
You
Right.
gotta look at it from the terms of the capitalistic retail standpoint. You're not gonna get your money back on this stuff, and
No.
this is one of the many reasons why I created my persona. Is the masses are wholly uneducated about all this, and it just kind of blows me away that this multi-billion-dollar industry, people don't know a goddamn thing about, and they commit so much money to it. So, like, for example, I have a guy local guy. He's getting married to a mail order bride, and it's.
Oh
I mean,
wow.
this guy's like a death's door, and the pictures I've seen of this mail order bride, it's exactly what you imagine. You know, big fake tits from Russia. She wants an $8,000 fucking engagement ring, and I said before you buy her an engagement ring, because he was telling me about I'm going to buy her a ring, and he's showing me the photos of her, and I'm just thinking like, oh, this is. I could see this coming a mile away how this is going to end for this guy. And this guy's on like a fixed income too. He doesn't have a
Oh
lot of money.
god.
So
Get that.
he brings me the paperwork and like, you know, it's like a local jeweler. They want like $8,000 for like a 1.5 carat,
Uh,
14 karat gold ring that's worth maybe $1,000. And I was like, no, 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 no. You're lighting money on fire that you don't have. Don't do that. Come to me. I have some secondhand rings. You know, I have a marquee cut 0.44 carat 14 karat gold diamond ring. I paid $300 for it. I offered it to him for $400. And
that's
he's like, well, think
fucking
about it.
balling.
And
Dude,
it's like, my God, I am
four.
trying to save you from financial ruin. You think this woman's going to stay with you and you can't afford to make your mortgage payments because you spent all of it on a stupid diamond ring that she didn't need?
Dude, if he does, you said a 4 carat diamond ring.
0.44 carat. No.
Oh, 0.4. Okay, I was about to
I'm
say.
not writing a charity here.
Woo!
Yeah.
I was about to say, if he doesn't buy it, I'll fucking send you the money tomorrow.
Yeah. No, I would not. Yeah, 4
Lord.
carats. Boy, that'd be expensive. No.
Right.
0.44 carat marquee cut. To be frank, part of the reason why I'm trying to sell it to him is I can't sell it. I overpaid on it. I paid $300 for it. I should have paid $200. But
Yeah.
you know, the guy who sold it to me showed me paperwork for $3,000 on it, and it's like shit. You know, when I offered him $300, I thought he was in a bulk, and he's like, "Oh, great deal," and I was like, "Oh shit, I should have done $200. I'm overpaying."
Right.
But
So does
no,
that happen a lot where it looks like they're ducks in a row? They come in with like an air of confidence and you're just
yeah.
like, get them in, get them out, next customer. It's like everything looks to be in order. And then like you look at it and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Diamonds are my weakest area. You know what? The thing is, I convey all this confidence, and I have built up this massive social media following that is like clearly going to the moon. I have so much faith in what I'm building and the success that I know I'm going to have. But the reality is, I've kind of faked it till I've made it because 2 years ago, I was a waiter. I was just getting started in this industry, and I learned from the old man who I apprenticed with, and I learned as much as I could before shit went south. But shit went south, and I had to suddenly open my own store. And it's like, well, fuck, I didn't finish learning from him, and you know, the rest of it, I guess I'm just guessing until I make it work. Luckily, I have enough experts that I've met where if there's something I'm not confident with, I can message them. They'll get right back to me. I have a watch expert I work with. I'm weak on watches. I have a diamond expert that I know. I have a bullion and gold expert where like, you know, I said somebody brought in a $10,000 chain today. I sent him a picture of it because it's like, you know, I did the basic tests and I'm looking and it feels good. But if I make this mistake, I'm out of business. One mistake can put me under where I'm at right now.
Oh my God.
So I'm still learning and I'm, you know, it's scary. It's kind of, I amaze myself with how far I've come in 2 years and all that I've learned. And anybody listening to this, watching this, if you're daunted by this industry, you know, like I just hired a new person and he's so overwhelmed. And it's like, my God, you think that I'm a master? I'm just getting started too. You know, it's all what you can fit into your head in terms of the knowledge that you can learn, and you can learn this stuff. School of Hard Knocks. It's all based on experience. Really, it's the best way to learn this business.
Yeah, dude, I could only imagine. Like, I do like a little bit of thrift selling, and I know the internet's kind of ruined thrift selling because it used to be like this, like 17-year-old kid that goes to a thrift shop because he wants clothes and maybe he can't really afford like a Supreme shirt, but he finds like this old vintage jacket and admires it for like 5 years, except for it's this some dude. And then it goes to like this Japanese exotic store in Tokyo. But I mean, you go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut in, but I had a thrift business too. And fucking Macklemore sank it. Thanks a lot, Macklemore.
Yeah, no. See, I
literally
started
sank it himself.
Oh yeah, no. When that song came out,
oh my God. I went from going like making a ton of money going to the Goodwill to like fighting people over polo shirts because everybody suddenly got the idea to go to a thrift shop because of that fucking song.
Oh my God. Okay, so who has done more, in your opinion, to pretty much not ruin, because I'm sure they're making plenty of money now, but ruin for the people who are in on the original secret? Who ruined it more, Malcolm Moore or people like Gary Vee?
Boy, that's tough. That's a coin toss.
Are you because are you aware of Gary Vee? Because like
They equally popularized it. They did it in their
yes.
own ways, and each had its own impact on pop culture. But the bottom line is, they pulled down the pants on that whole secret of making money. The cat's out of the bag.
Oh my
You
God.
can't do that anymore
It'll
unless.
take another year and a half. And probably not that, because at least back when Malcolm Moore came out, like that was like what, 2012,
Well,
2013.
yeah, almost 10 years ago.
Yeah, so I mean, the internet was nowhere as big, but now with it, at least with Gary Vee, like it's like an echo chamber on top of an echo chamber, because he can say it and then people can be like, oh, I'm a thrifter too, and I make TikToks, and then just more people find out about it. And just, do you think those people know what they're doing? Because like they're putting in jeopardy their own business.
Well, they don't care though. They've already capitalized on it. Each of them has found success, and if they shake the tree until all the berries fall out, and they were the ones with their mouths widest open, then they got full, and now nobody else can eat.
Well, yeah. And in retrospect, yeah, but what about in like 3 months, when like they need like that other, when they're used to like 12K or whatever they get, and then they're just like, oh shit, I'm down to 4K this month. Fuck, shit's tight.
Well, we'll see if they cross that bridge.
Right.
Who knows what's going to happen.
Because like I've really noticed this on TikTok, that a lot of people like stick to one thing. So the odds of someone just being like, I'm a thrifting channel too, and just it like keeps going and going, it's like there's got to be an inflection point somewhere where either it gets so busy that, actually it's probably going to be both, they would get so busy that they would fail as their channels and as a business. So not only would they not have stuff to post, but they'd also not have stuff to sell, so it would just all collapse at the same time.
One thing that I've been doing, because when I first created this persona, PawnMan's only a year old. I created it in June of 2019, or I mean June. I'm sorry, June of 2020. And one of my friends, right when it first started taking off, was like, "Well, how are you going to keep this fresh? Because you only have so much content you can work with." And it's like, "Oh, no, 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 no!
No,
What
no.
I can do is I can work in anything you can think of. I can turn this into Pawn Stars. That was my original goal. But when I started apprenticing with the guy who taught me, I noticed that he was turning stuff away. And I was like, why are you turning this away? I can sell it. Like, fucking, we'll buy anything if I can turn it. So, like, the first weird thing that I bought, somebody brought in a bag of used cell phones. They were gross. I paid them $3 for the bag. I flipped it for 10. I was like, cool. See, I can turn anything. So with Pawn Man, I can cover any subject matter. In next week's episode on YouTube, I'm covering the history of Pokemon.
Oh
It's
yeah, that's gonna be
gold
a
and
big
silver.
one.
I hope so. My most successful episode to date has been about the history of Beanie Babies. I covered the Beanie Baby bubble and the history of Ty Warner and Beanie Babies and the whole fascinating story in like a 10-minute monologue in the episode. So there's a lot of material for me to work with, and that's what I'm going to keep doing and continue to do to grow and entertain and amuse, is just cover weird subject matter, but make it work. Or, one week is something weird. Like I got Pokemon next week. The week after that, I'm covering the history of the Federal Reserve. I just recorded that today, and the Panic of 1907. So I can bounce around. I can make my topics so that I can cherry pick all day long, and it's all related to the original content, and yet it's diversifying. I'm not a one-trick pony by doing this.
Yeah, especially with like Beanie Babies. Like every time I see one, my like eyes perk up, and I'm like, oh wait, they're worthless.
They are
Shit.
now. I am a believer they will come back one day randomly for one more big rush.
Oh,
If
dude,
you have,
Logan Paul's going to run that shit as
oh yeah,
hard as he
no, he
can.
did it with Pokemon, and he's gonna do it again. He's got the power to do it. I hope he does it with Beanie Babies.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll get big enough where I can do it.
Right, exactly. Dude, that
I
would be
literally have, according to collector guides, I have 100K worth of Beanie Babies right now. It's just I can't get anybody to give me $20 for them, but I have all the rare tag errors.
oh yeah, no, the tag errors, especially like everyone loves an error.
Indeed,
Like
or
every
anything.
yeah, I remember like again, Pawn Stars, there was a dude that like, what did he do? he had $100 bill that was like crooked on the machine, so it like posted it sideways. So it like Benjamin Franklin was like, it was $100 bill. So like Benjamin Franklin was like in the center, but
Got
it
it.
was like imagine the image rotated.
I can just picture it. I know what you're describing. How much did it
Yeah,
go for?
I cannot remember, but it was so fascinating.
Yeah, I've seen some weird error notes. I mean, they're usually not as expensive as people think,
No.
but they can command a big premium for sure. Same with
Yeah,
phones.
if somebody wants it bad enough. Now, so what, if you wouldn't mind, what are your thoughts on, because you said you stack gold and silver a lot. What is your like outlook on that? Because a lot of people, especially now, I've been hearing a lot of different people state that gold and silver have value because there's a fixed amount on the planet. That's the fixed amount that we're ever going to get on, minus whatever Fort Knox has got in it. But the
If you can at
second,
all.
right. But the second that, let's say, Jeff Bezos is like, well, riding a rocket was fun, but what happens if I want to mine an asteroid?
Oh, that will for sure kill gold and silver. But
Yeah.
that's 100 years out. That's not happening anytime soon because you have to physically go up there and mine it and get it back here, and the amount of fucking money that is going to cost. Like your break even point is trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, to the point where it's like, who
Oh,
can afford it? Right now it's not going to happen anytime soon. Jeff
Bezos.
Bezos could throw his entire fortune into it and he wouldn't even get close. He could team up with Elon Musk and every other multi-billionaire and they still wouldn't get close because it's too hard right now. 100 years from now, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I don't know if I'll still be alive in 100 years. I probably won't be.
Yeah.
But that will shift the economy. That will shift the rarity. Another thing that I've been thinking about that is a more prudent threat right now for precious metals is platinum reserves being discovered in the melting Arctic, because not every,
Yeah.
but there are 5 major superpowers that are competing in the Arctic, running mock war games against each other, looking for resource reserves because that shit, the snow is melting, and they're gonna, I think, find a platinum reserve in the next 20 years that could double the known supply. Now, that's not much because the known supply could fit into the room that I'm sitting in right now in the world. It's that rare.
Wow.
But what happens if the rarity suddenly gets cut in half? Does the market get cut in half or not? I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
because that's kind of weird. If there's enough to fit in the room, then it could be cut in half by the doubling of volume, or the price
or
could go up even more just because the
exactly.
utility is just, I mean, because now we can do shit that we weren't able to do before.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. Same thing with space mining. I don't have a good answer. Bitcoin is definitely a disruptor in cryptocurrency. In gold and silver, other
Oh
precious
yeah.
metals are obviously ancient forms of doing economics and holding money. Cryptocurrency is a new form. They will inevitably clash because they are different systems. Old world meeting new world. One was made because the other was full of shit. I
Yeah.
mean, more fiat currencies, but fiat currencies were traditionally based on gold and silver, and they've
Yeah.
around the
Oh, and
world walked away since the 70s.
then France called US on its bullshit, and they're like, ah, fuck, we got to go to the petrodollar.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact is, I don't know what's going to happen long term. I'll tell you right now, for anybody who's a speculative investor looking to grow their net worth, protect their money, put it into something safe over the next 20 years, you can't go wrong with gold or silver. I think silver is a better buy than gold. I think it's being artificially manipulated. I talk about this all the time on TikTok and on YouTube. The fact that you have had such a run on silver this year and the spot price refuses to break $30 an ounce screams artificial manipulation. It's used in so many different aspects: space technology, computer technology, solar technology. Silver is not just some shiny thing that crazy doomsday preppers buy. It's a legitimate form of holding money, and I am trying to educate the masses about that. It is one of the many reasons why I got on social media. I think gold and silver are very safe bets long term over the next years. I think silver could triple. It could go to $90 an ounce. Gold could double. It could go to 4,000 an ounce. It could also stay stagnant where it is right now. I don't have a crystal ball. People walk in all the time off the street and ask me, so what's going to happen tomorrow? It's like, motherfucker, if I knew that, I would be in the shop. I'd be on a yacht somewhere. So I don't know what's
Right.
going to happen. And the fact that you have so much nefarious action at play in the markets, there's strings that I can't see that are pulling, and I don't know what kind of weight that could have. This artificial manipulation could fucking tank the silver market too. It could drop back down to like what it was in that toxic shock that it went through during COVID, where it dropped to like 13 an ounce. You couldn't get it for 13 an ounce. Nobody was selling below 20, but that's what the market price went to, the spot price. And
Yeah.
it reeks of shit, all of it, through and through. You have so many rich people that are doing so many nefarious things around the globe with their finances. They're getting away with it. The extent that they're getting away with it in the precious metals market, it's a table at a fancy dining restaurant where if you pull the sheet off the table, there's cockroaches and the wood is rotten.
Exactly. Especially with like the original GameStop rush. I
Yeah.
remember I remember like a lot like I remember not Mr. Beast, it was a Keemstar. Like I remember he was really big into GameStop, and then he was like, "Hey guys, I also heard about a silver run." And then
Mm-hmm.
like silver ran up 25% in price over like a 2-day span.
But it did not break $30 an ounce. That's
Yeah.
a fucking magic number. It has yet to break. And I was working that day, that Monday. I was there. I was at the shop until like 7 p.m. We closed at 5. I couldn't leave because the phone was ringing off the hook. I had to answer the phone saying, "Thanks for calling the shop that I was working on. I'm not there anymore. We do not have any gold or silver. We are sold out. I can't order anymore. How can I help you?"
And it just got hung up on.
Yeah, the phone was ringing nonstop, and this went throughout the day. My TikTok was just exploding, and it was like, I'm waiting for these metal markets to reflect what's going on with the actual markets and the demand, and they didn't. And it just
Yeah.
seemed indicative to me that something shitty was going on.
Oh yeah, we all know what it was. It was them manipulating silver to get pressure off of GameStop so they'd stop losing billions of dollars.
Yeah. So, well, hey, look at
It's
GameStop's price right now. And I still get people asking me, like, so do you think I should invest in GameStop? Because like I see it going up a lot. It's like, no, no. Oh
yeah,
my God, get a time machine and invest in Blockbuster while you're at it.
right. I mean, that was so crazy, like how they just like, because no one really knows. Like Robinhood is IPOing tomorrow, and you think that it would be okay, but just because it probably will do good because all these stockbrokers are like, hey, you're going to IPO. So if you do us this favor and stop them from being able to buy, but they can sell, go ahead.
Robinhood personally cost me about $3,000.
Oh,
And
yeah, no.
frankly, they should be in handcuffs for what happened. So I bought during this craziness, that crazy, crazy week in January, I bought Naked brand because I did
Yeah.
like on Reddit, and everybody was like, "Oh, buy this thing Reddit or buy this thing called Naked. We're going after that next." So I put that morning, I think I put like $1,000 into it when it was 50 cents,
Yep.
and it went to like 5 something in that day, and I was like, "Oh, fuck! I made thousands of dollars," and I'm sitting there trying to sell it, and the
Nope.
fucking price is
Oh,
tanking,
it's
and Robinhood is
falling.
blocking my trades. Finally, they let me do it at 250, but I tried to sell at the actual high at 5 something, and like them blocking me from trading cost me thousands. I mean, at least let me
Oh,
do it. But like, this
same
is the
thing.
heads I win, tails you lose game they're playing, and
Yeah.
fuck
Oh,
them,
dude,
fuck them.
same thing happened with Dogecoin. Like the second Elon came on and his mom said Dogecoin, like the price went from 64 to like fucking 40. I'm just like, sell, sell, sell. I still made a profit, but I mean, it was not the like half of what I would have done if it would have sold the second I hit the button.
Elon Musk should be in. Well, in my opinion, he broke a law before the law was written, and that law
Yeah.
is cryptocurrency manipulation.
Yeah, but not
He technically didn't break the law, but it
no.
seems like he did, and it looks like he did, and this is blatantly going to be a crime in 5 years.
Oh, absolutely. But he does not hold as much power anymore, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I get asked questions about him a lot, and it's like there are very few people I can think of in the world that have such a vast fortune that could literally evaporate overnight.
Yeah. It's
His one of them.
yeah,
He could go broke overnight. He really could. I don't think he will, but he could.
yeah, no, it's so crazy. Like this whole thing, like, and even a lot of people like say like who even really needs that kind of money? Like you'd like to have that kind of
I
money.
was
It's
gonna
what
say I'm not gonna argue
right.
if I get that much money, but
Oh
yeah,
no, of course not. But as someone
I
who
like
doesn't have that money, I'm like, no one needs that money. But at the same time, if I had that money, I'd be like, get the fuck off my money.
I like the idea of once you hit $1 billion, you get a fucking chip, a
Yeah, that's the
medal, and
cap.
it just says you won capitalism. Good job. You don't get it anymore.
Exactly. Like a billion's a reasonable amount to like stop at. Like if there was like a god, like whatever deity on high is just like, okay, one person can own $1 billion. That's it. That would be a nice. That'd be
If
a
you
nice
have enough
world.
money to disrupt a small country or government or buy that
Right.
government outright, then you
Right.
have too much money. You are a
Right.
modern day king in the eyes of capitalism.
Yeah. It's like we have so many companies that are literally more powerful than governments.
Mm-hmm. And they're citizens in the eyes of the U.S. government, so that's fun.
Exactly. Like we were talking earlier about the Hobby Lobby cuneiform tablet kind of conspiracy, but I remember back when I was a kid when they won a Supreme Court hearing
Yeah.
about how Hobby Lobby has freedom of religion in like respect to Obamacare mandating that like businesses give their employees birth
Crashing into
control.
Christ.
Oh yeah. So I'm like, so if a precedent's been set that a corporation has rights, especially religious rights, how quickly can a company be mandated as a citizen? And then when can that citizen, quote unquote, run for office?
Well, a company hasn't run for office yet, but they are citizens according to the Supreme Court. The
Oh,
2012.
so oh really? So that's already been passed. Because I
Yeah,
remember that.
well, Citizens United made cash free speech, but it basically gave citizenship to corporate or like it views corporations as people. I mean, there's a lot of fancy language in it, but that's the underlying of what it fucking does. And it's
Wow.
yeah.
So step 2 of 3 of my like doomsday scenarios are fuck. I thought we had a couple years till 2 came out.
Nope, we're on a fast track. But luckily, the climate will kill us before anything. So I don't know if you noticed, but this has been the worst year for climate
Oh
change. And
my
if it's going to
god,
get better next year, it ain't.
dude. Honestly, Alabama's been pretty chill.
Minnesota has. Well, it's been chill in the aspect that it's been fucking below zero in the winter, like for months on end, and then the summer's been above 90 like every day.
Yeah, yeah, no, because like Seattle's like people are literally. I talked to a dude about this yesterday on our podcast. Like wet bulb temperature. Like no one knew what the fuck that was. Like my dad did, but that was in like basic training in Germany or where his AIT or wherever the fuck he went for Germany. Uh,
Illuminate me. I don't know what that is.
Oh God, you don't know. Okay. So you know how sweating works. It's not the act of sweating, but the evaporation of the water off your skin that pulls heat off of you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So wet bulb temperature is pretty much this perfect area of heat and moisture where your sweat doesn't evaporate.
Oh.
So the sweat doesn't evaporate, your body doesn't have heat pulled off of it, so you literally broil.
Yeah,
So
this
if
is the Minnesota summer.
Yeah, exactly. So if you were in the middle of a field, like you would have to literally have a strong wind blow blow the moisture off of you to pull off the heat, or to jump in a cooler body of water. But if you was in the middle of a field, you would just die. You'd just cook and die.
Huh.
And however long that takes. Like that's a
Lovely.
that's a horrifying thought.
Yeah, well, hey, that's what they're doing to prisoners. They don't have air conditioning.
Right. Oh my
Texas
God.
prisons, among well, actually, most of the prisons in the South don't. It's pretty fucking
Yeah.
awful.
Oh yeah, no. It's
Let's run a
like
concentration camp and we'll sell it privately. It's a company.
oh,
Private
and then
prisons, hooray!
oh, and then one of the
God bless
most, and
America.
then California's just like, we're going to pay prisoners 35 cents a day to fight wildfires.
Oh my god! And they can't become fucking firefighters after they get experience doing this.
I know, right? That's, oh my God. I'm like, at least give them like a year off their sentence or something if they're going to Oma. Like, I wonder what the numbers are of like people who've actually like been severely burnt, injured, or died.
Yeah, I bet the prison officials hide it, but it's
Oh,
not good.
yeah. Dude, like, if it's like 15% or something, you need like years taken off your sentence. If there's like a actual chance, like if they're going, because they're not going to stop it. Like there's not even like a point for us to just be like arguing that it stops. It should, but it's not. But if there's like a 15% chance that you get hurt real bad, you need to have time taken off your sentence.
I agree. You should also be able to work the job that you did better than most professionals because you did it for years.
Absolutely. Just, I can't. And then like I think what like because Orange is the New Black really came out with a lot of these like I love how like some TV shows just like sneak shit in there and they're like, oh, Publix uses prison labor to grow their food. Wait, fucking what? Excuse me? They do what now?
Yeah,
It's like,
Nintendo uses them to assemble their Game Boys.
oh
Probably child
no,
labor in there too.
don't say that. I like my Switch. Don't say that.
Well, hey, every fucking thing that you buy is somehow connected to something that is horribly tainted and would irreparably change your outlook on it if you knew the truth.
That was the basis of like The Good Place. Have you ever seen that show?
No.
So it was pretty much like a point system. So the scenario that like someone found out like 350 years it was in the past from modern day or like 2013 when the show came out. That was the last time someone got into heaven because like and they pulled up an example like Michael stops by walking to his grandmother's house, picks a flower off the side of the road, gives it to his grandmother. She's happy, he gets points to go to heaven. Bob orders flowers off of his phone, gives them to his mother. He goes down points because Bob used a phone that stripped mines with child labor in like fucking Africa to a phone company whose CEO is a racist and sexual harasser to a flower company that uses migrant workers and underpays them. I'm like, just like, holy fucking shit, stop it already.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Oh, the modern world's a lot of fun.
Oh my god! Like we like literal iPhones are made by like literal modern day slaves.
There's more money flowing now through slavery than there was in the 1800s.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know
is
necessarily adjusted for inflation, but still.
yeah, that is so sad. Like I'd hope it at least that metric is true because of like the increase in population and not like by a percentage.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, no, me neither. But I'm just like, that's the only hope I have because I'm like, well, of course, if there's more people, then there's a higher likelihood. But per capita, that's the metric I want to go off of. But it's probably more per metric.
Yeah. Anyway, go back to gold and silver.
Oh my god, yes, dude.
Me out.
Yeah, this always happens.
But well, everything makes me want to keep drinking, but this
yeah,
especially.
Yeah, no, it's a bummer. But so what made you want to start a not pawn shop?
Well, I'll give you a short version of the long story. And the short version is I spent my 20s trying to be a writer, chasing my dreams. I started out trying to get into screenplays. I had some success. I had a manager in Hollywood sign me to his talent company. And basically I flew close to the sun, but I never broke through. And this guy dumped me as his client and it just fucking killed me. And it was like, well, fuck, I'm back to square one and I've been at this for years. So I'm going to pivot into books and see if I can break into that. So I did that for a couple of years. And meanwhile, I'm working all these bonehead, like dead end jobs. I'm working in restaurants. I was an Uber driver for a couple of years full time. I ended up writing a couple books about being an Uber driver that had, readers loved it. I have great reviews, but I couldn't get a publisher to pick me up. I had to self-publish my books on Amazon. I didn't sell very many copies. And like, I'm working in restaurants and the whole starving artist thing is losing its cute factor. Now we're in like 2.5 years ago. It's like, goddamn, I'm turning 30. My friends are getting married, having kids, buying houses, moving up in the world, and I'm not. And I got to figure something out. And around this time, I got a tip from my dad that a guy that he used to buy a lot of gold and silver from, who had a shop, at one point it was a pawn shop. And like I had heard stories about this guy. It was like a cartoon character. He's a big game hunter. He'd made and lost fortunes in his life. He had a pawn license at one, like, long story short, my family had a lot of money. They went broke during the 2008 recession. We had to sell all of our valuables to this guy. We pawned them. This guy gave us a pawn loan for like thousands and thousands of dollars, and he sat on our family heirlooms for years, and he let my dad buy it back with no interest. So this guy was like a good guy to my family. Well, my dad comes in, he sees me. This is March of 2019. My dad doesn't live in town, he's visiting. And he says, Evan, I saw Chuck this morning. The guy's name was Chuck. Chuck told me he is desperate. He said, Harold, I am desperate for a young person. If you know any young people, send them my way. I want to retire. I want to teach somebody my business. And I thought, the crazy gold guy who hunts the polar bears? Really? No, fuck that. Like, no, this is still, no. So I think about it and I think, no, this isn't for me. This is a weird life. No. I'm not going to get involved with this. Well, I work a shift at the restaurant that I'm at that is so frustrating. I deal with so much incompetency in one shift. I almost quit on the spot, and I'm out in the back parking lot having like a mini temper tantrum because like, God damn, I fucking hate these fucking people, these imbeciles that I work with. I want to get out of this industry. Oh yeah, the gold guy. I'll give him a call. Called him up, had a meeting with him, basically begged him for a job, and he was like, look, I don't trust anybody in the business that I'm in. He didn't seem very enthused to be meeting with me for given the fact that my dad said this guy's desperate. He said, I got to think about it. Why don't you tell me what you can do for me? And I said, look, like I'm looking at your store. It looks like you're trapped in 1980. I bet you're not on the internet. He said, I'm right. I said, well, look, at the very least, I have a lot of experience running eBay businesses. I had a very successful eBay business back in the day, my thrift store business. So I can put you on eBay. I can put you on the internet. I can do things for you, digitize your business in a way that you're not doing it, and potentially really grow your revenue. And I don't want very much money to start. Why don't you start paying me $100 a day? So I begged him for a job. Finally, July of 2019, he hires me part-time. And I spend the rest of the summer in the morning. I wake up at like 9 a.m. I was so poor, I didn't have a car. So I would find a scooter and I would get on the scooter and I would, ride share the scooter over to a store, park the scooter around back behind a dumpster so somebody would take it. So I had a means to go to my next job, work there until 2 or 3, go to the restaurant, work until like 11, 12, 1 in the morning, go home and want to die, go the next day, do it again. This continued all summer. It went so well, me setting up an eBay business for him, that he hired me full time. However, it was just him that owned the business. He had an antiques expert. This guy, I call him Ned Flanders. He looks like Ned Flanders, sounds like Ned Flanders, fucking walking cartoon character. Who would help him on Fridays and Saturdays. And then his girlfriend, who he was not married to, who knew virtually nothing about the business, basically treated it like a social club, would come at whatever time she felt like, come whatever days she felt like, occupy the best real estate in the business. She had this big grand desk with a computer, and would just sit there and shop and do Scrabble and like wouldn't answer the phone or participate in sales or do anything. So I learned the ropes from this guy. I learned everything about gold, silver, how to buy, how to sell, coins, you name it. This guy educates the hell out of me, and it goes really well. And he eventually hires me full time. So I quit the restaurant in fall of 2019, and I throw myself into this business, working my ass off for him. And like, it's going really well. I'm selling a shit ton of stuff on eBay. I make an Instagram that's slow to start. Fall of 2019, very shortly after he hired me full time, I went out to New York because I got some friends out there, and I messaged Tommy Haynes, aka Stack in NYC, and I said, "Look, I see what you're doing on Instagram. I'm doing something similar in Minnesota. Or I'm like in the process of setting this up. I would love to buy you a drink and pick your brain and just learn from you." And he said, "I'll do you one better. Come to my apartment. I'll buy you lunch." So I hung out with Tommy all day this one Friday in October of 2019, or actually no, it was November 1st of 2019, day after Halloween. I remember I was so hungover, pulled it together. And I learned so much from this guy. My God, he was such a good resource. I went back to Minnesota being like, I need to do what this guy is doing. This guy is running a multi-million-dollar business out of his apartment just using Instagram. There's no reason I can't do that for the guy's name is Chuck. So I go really hard into the social media. And that summer, I decide, well, what if I go on YouTube? What if I make a YouTube show about this business? Because not only is social media the key to making a lot of money here, But information is really the key. And I'm looking in the space and I'm seeing there's the Pawn Stars guys, and that's about it. As far as charismatic characters that are conveying the intrigue and the knowledge and the mystique of the business that I'm in, there's no one with a personality, a showman like me. And I've always wanted to be on camera. And like I've always been really good at like acting and just being a vocal presence, being a personality. So I made this YouTube show. One day, every Friday, Saturday, I was trusted at this point. So it would be Ned Flanders and I running the store Fridays and Saturdays in the summer, and Chuck and his girlfriend would go up to their cabin. And so, it was just us. So I basically created Pawn Man in secrecy as YouTube videos. And I didn't want to tell them, Chuck, or the girlfriend's name is Jill, I didn't want to tell them about it because Jill was acting pretty weird around me.
Kind of sus.
She just thought I was stealing. She had it in her head that I was stealing, and like I wasn't. But it got fucking really paranoid, and it was like I got to be really careful around this woman because she could have my head on a silver platter for no reason at any given point in time. And then again, I'm back to square one, and I lose all this, and I don't want. I've invested a lot at this point. I don't want to lose any of this. So but it's like the other thing is though is I know I have a good idea, and I know that it's going to make Chuck a lot of money, and I know that this woman's an idiot, and fucking I should just do what makes some money, run with it, see if it works. And if it works, I'll tell them about it once I have success and a proven track record to show them. So fast forward this fall, this is now October of 2020. We go up to their cabin, Chuck and Jill and I, for a retreat. And I showed them Pawn Man, and I confessed and told them all about it. Because it was getting to the point where it was getting so popular, I couldn't hide it. There were people that were coming into the store asking about it.
Oh my God.
No, don't say Pawn Man, because she doesn't fucking know about it.
That is my worst fear. Just to interject for a second, that is my worst fear because I've got a friend in Atlanta who just messaged me a couple weeks ago. It's like, dude, this is the fourth person that's recognized me in public and wanted a selfie. That's my word. No, I would love to be that famous, but also I'm in small town Alabama where it's very, very simple to find out where I live. That scares me.
Yeah, Minnesota, it's not terribly hard to figure out where I live. Anyway, so I tell them about it, and I say, look, this is growing fast. What I'm going to do on Monday is I'm going to create a TikTok account, and I'm going to translate this or try to translate this into actual sales because there's people asking me about buying stuff from me. They're messaging me on Instagram, but like, I want to be more brazen about it. I want to be hiding the fact that I had this camera going. And the other thing was like, their summer home was seasonal, and like they were going to be coming back into the store. And I didn't want to shut down the Pawn Man thing. I was just going to do one quote unquote season of it and then shut it down till the next summer and then resume the secrecy thing. But it's like, no, like I have a great idea. Kudos to me for thinking of this idea. I'm going to translate it to a lot of money for them. Because, as far as I was concerned, they owned the concept. They owned all of it. I was just working for them.
What was the sub count?
It's never been high on YouTube. I still am below 7,000. It is.
Well, I mean, when you decided to tell them, were you like 2,000, 3,000?
I think I had 3,000 or so, maybe 4,000.
That's a pretty good confession number.
So I tell them about it, and Chuck's like, "Oh, cool," and Jill's like, doesn't like it. She's like, "Well, what's your end goal with this?" I was like, "Again, the information sector of this is potentially worth millions of dollars. I think I have a product that is so good, I might be able to one day sell it to a network and get a TV deal." And now at this point, we're talking about millions of dollars, and you guys are a part of this. And,
exactly.
Again, Chuck is like, this is great. She didn't like it at all. So I, ignore her because he liked it so much. I was really encouraged by the fact of how much he liked it. And I make this TikTok account, and boom, the TikTok account like instantly fucking takes off. I had like 10,000 followers like that, and then 20, and then 30, like within like a month. So now it's like, oh, this was definitely a good idea. I feel stupid for hiding it from you guys. It's such a good idea because now I'm taking sales on TikTok and I am generating so much fucking money for them. It was crazy. Like within 6 months, I bet I put 300 grand in his pocket. It was that
good. God.
Yeah. So the more success that I'm bringing them, now we're in December, the crazier this woman is acting. She wants me to shut the whole thing down and go back to doing the old way of business. Meanwhile, I'm so busy. One of my friends I used to work with at a restaurant is begging me for a job because she just got the restaurant because of the pandemic. Like it wasn't feasible for her to keep working there. And I trust this girl. And it's like, I'm drowning. I can't keep up with doing all this social media, doing all these sales, and running his store, and basically being this old man's personal errand boy because this guy's in like terrible health. So like I hired her on. Well, it reaches ahead basically. The girlfriend just absolutely fucking goes fucking bananas crazy. Doesn't like any of it. Doesn't like that nobody's consulting her. Nobody asked her opinion about it. It's like, my God, I'm making you money. What part about this is a problem? You fucking crazy bitch. Do you not know how a fucking goddamn business works? So it comes to a head in January of 2021 with the shotgun sale. She tells she tells Chuck, either you sell the business to Evan by your birthday in April, or I'm breaking up with you and I'm leaving you.
Oh my God.
So I'm suddenly forced with this shotgun sale. And I don't even hear about it directly from them. I hear about it from, her name's Juliet, my friend who I hired from the restaurant. Juliet's like, we're driving home in the car one day. So you're ready to buy Chuck's business? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, oh, yeah. She's like, oh, well, you have to buy his business or else Jill's leaving him. That's what she said. I'm like, wait, what? Yo. So, and again, mind you, I came from poverty. They were now paying me $1,100 a week, and I'm still being underpaid because of the amount of money that I'm generating.
Oh yeah,
I'm making like even more. Now you want me to buy your business after only like a year and a half of like being paid like a kind of livable wage? You want me to like, they wanted $250,000 for their business.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah. So, and it's like, I can't believe that this is happening. I did a good thing for you guys, and you guys are fucking treating me like shit and making it seem like I did something wrong. And that this is so much craziness, and it's all hinged on this crazy woman who's having like an insecurity complex with me.
Oh yeah.
I'm not trying to sleep with the guy. I'm just trying to do right by him.
Dude, this screams insecurity. Like did this guy have like a son or something?
He's got 5 kids from different women. He's not close to any of them except his daughter, who gave him. He had like stage 4 like liver failure like 10 years ago. He almost died, and she gave him a liver, and now he's got stage 4 kidney failure because I guess his kidney's not taking the liver rejection meds well.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. So I mean, it could be arguable that he's like, because maybe behind closed doors, but he's like a son to me. It's like
I think that's what happened. I think, and I can't prove it. I think he wanted to just leave me the business in his will, and she was like, no, he doesn't get anything for free. He's got to pay for it.
Exactly.
So he instigated all this craziness herself, but the fact is, he allowed it to happen. I can't tell you the emotional abusive turmoil that I had to go through, the fucking stress this woman put me through. I was having panic attacks. Like, I had my hairdresser was like, my God, you have all these gray hairs. Where did these come from? Like, in a very short amount of time, this all went to shit. And slowly, he started turning against me, even though it's like, my God, I've done nothing. I come in on my days off to work for you because I have so many fucking orders. I can't keep up with it. And this is a problem for you.
Well, for her perspective, she has to sleep with the old fart, and your ass is just getting all the praise.
Also, the other thing is she reeked, in my opinion, of like needed to get fucked. Like, they hadn't slept together in years. I don't even think he was healthy enough to.
Oh,
the other thing is, and I've never told this to anyone.
BCEW exclusive people.
He was sexually harassing the fucking shit out of Juliet, and I couldn't stop it. And it was like, she was crying in the car to me, and it was like,
oh my God,
the girl you hired? I don't know what to do. You're welcome to quit and sue him. I'll back you up if you do, but I don't know how to fix this aside from like giving you more money. So like, I was just throwing money at the problem with her because it's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I've never been in this situation. Like, I confronted him about it numerous times, and he just was like, he basically played well, I'm an old man, I'm gonna die soon, so whatever.
He gaslit the fuck out of y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus
exactly.
Christ.
So it was a toxic environment through and through and through. But I mean, hey, you know what? If I can buy this business, because the guy's business is for sure a cash cow. If I can buy this business and wrestle him and her out of it, and take it and own it, and make a payment arrangement that works, then fine. I'm willing to do it because I know I've created something great. And the synergy of this guy who's been in business for 40 years, all of his fucking crazy hoarder conspiracy theorist clientele combined with this new audience that I have cultivated, I'll make it work. Fine. So it was going to be a $250,000 deal. And I pulled in basically an attorney to help me put the deal together. And we had everything ready to go. We had a deal. It wasn't like there was no signatures on paper, but like we had a finalized deal. We put a lot of time into it.
Uh-huh.
Well, then he changes the terms of the deal. And now $150,000 for his business, and it's basically just the name of the business and all of his ancient decrepit equipment, and that was it, and no inventory. And it's like, oh
Oh
fuck you,
no. Oh
oh fuck
fuck
you at this point.
that.
So I said, look, we had to sit down, and I was like, look, I'm not going to do this. You guys are treating me like shit. You do not treat an earner like this. I rescued you guys from COVID. I transformed your business. I have done so much work. I haven't stolen from you guys. You treat me like shit, and I've done nothing but like work hard for you. Fuck this. I'm going to go into business for myself. This sale's not going to happen. You guys blew it. And they basically laughed me out the door, and they kind of threatened me on my way out the door. And they were like, oh, you're never going to be able to open your own store. Well, 30 days later, I had my own place open for business about a mile and a half away from them. And I
Oh
have
fuck
been,
yeah.
since I opened the doors, I've been steadily like draining their business. Like I'm doing really well. I've doubled their rating on Google. I put them on Google in the first place. Google became such an instrumental part of my business with them. And I'm for sure killing them. And as I said to them, as I was walking out, I was like, look, you guys, you brought me in here because you don't have anyone else to sell this business to. I'm it. And you're laughing me out the door. I'm your only shot at selling this business. So, I mean, this guy is like, he's this close to dying. I heard he's down to 2 days a week. So basically, the guy was right in every regard, and they're not going to be able to sell it to anyone. They're going to go out of business very soon. What I think will happen is he'll die, and she'll be left with everything, and she won't know what to fucking do with it.
Oh
She doesn't know
no.
anything about that business, and I will be able to slither in and buy everything for pennies on the dollar, and I'll get it all anyway.
Dude.
So
I
that's the story.
two things. If I had the ability to bet, like if like DraftKings had an open betting forum, I would put actual money, a paycheck, in fact, on how quickly she would try to honeypot you.
Oh yeah, 100%. She might
The
be so
moment.
stupid. She might be so stupid and spiteful as to not want to give me the satisfaction because the person who put together the deal is a close, wealthy family friend.
Uh-huh.
And I called him like right after I walked out, quit and whatever. I called him and I said, hey, I want you to know, thank you for giving me all this time with this deal. It did not work out. It just went south on me. And he said, oh, well, this is really a shame. I hate to see this happen. Tell you what, here's what I'm going to do for you, Evan. I'm going to call up Chuck and I'm going to offer him $5,000 for his eBay handle because you built that up. It's got a huge following. You deserve to have it. That'll be my gift to you. My kudos to you for having the balls to walk away from this. And like, I want to see you succeed. So that'll be my gift to you. That dumb fuck turned down $5,000 and threw away his eBay business, literally shut it down for nothing.
Oh my God. I would have changed the password and just be like, what? Well, it's not my fault your old ass can't remember a password.
Yeah. The craziness behind it is just fucking maddening.
Dude,
So,
that would have been
I
the
don't know
one
how they're
thing I
doing.
stole. That would have been the one thing I stole was the eBay business.
I don't know how they're doing, but I'll tell you this much: they instantly cut their revenue in half by losing me. And if there's another pandemic, they're for sure done because like
Oh yeah,
through the last one, they won't be able to finagle another one.
yeah, if this Delta variant like kicks up, then it's just fucking dunzo for a lot of people that just barely made it out.
Now, in case you haven't been able to gather, I'm still fucking really spiteful and angry that all this happened, mainly because
Oh yeah.
I just did like I didn't deserve it. I worked hard, I tried hard, and I got fucking spit on. And now I'm gonna fucking eat them alive. And I didn't want to have to do that, but this was what was thrust upon me.
Dude.
And it consistently comes up in my social media presence because it's just like, well, number one, it's a great story. I'm for sure gonna write a book about this.
Oh my God, it's so good. Dude,
but number
Tale is
two,
old as time. Tale is old as time.
yeah, it's really a success through revenge, a revenge through success story that I'm in the middle of living right now. It does make me sad that it happened because I was very close to him, and I did for a while regard him as basically being a second father. He rescued me from poverty. He turned my life around. He taught me everything. He gave me a chance when nobody else would, but then he allowed me to be trampled, and it was just such a betrayal. And I'm fucking angry that he treated me like that. But you know what? Hey, fuck him. I'm gonna eat his bones and shit him out.
Dude. And again, the second thing, Captain Hindsight, that would have been the perfect opportunity for that lawyer to double down as a prosecuting sexual harass lawyer and be like, well, we'll drop the charge if you give me the business.
Ooh, I wish I would have thought of that back then.
Yeah, Captain Hindsight, that would have.
Admittedly, I did try to talk Juliet into suing him, and she just was like, "That's not my vibe. Like, I'm not that kind of person." It's like, "But you deserve it, and I documented everything in a diary. You're the definition of someone who deserves it." She's just like, "I just don't want to."
But you should be that person. And again, you can't be mad at a victim because they are a victim. But
well, it's her decision. It's her money.
It is. It really is. It really is her decision. It's just.
I applaud her strength for putting up with it. And,
exactly.
she still works with me. I took her. It's her and I. I just hired a third person. But she's instrumental to my operation, and I love her dearly, and feel badly that all that, my means of solving the problem is throwing money at the problem, and like that, it was really just an ugly, terrible situation through and through. I'm just glad that she's still with me, and she's a strong woman.
Dude, and it's so unfortunate that like in so many cases it comes down to them just like they are strong, but it's just like that person's still there. Like if he's hired, like what if he's got two other girls, same thing's happening. Oh, I'm just an old man. I gotta flex my bones while they're still like maybe, probably not, but maybe. And that's just like he justifies it to himself. Like everyone justifies anything bad they do to themselves.
Yeah. But hey, you catch more bees with honey than with vinegar, and all I can say is he literally created his own monster.
Yeah.
It was in his best interest to make it work with me, and by laughing me out the door and letting me open up my own shop, I am fucking bleeding him. Like there's no way that I'm not. On top of that, he gave me all the contacts that I need. Like I kept a record.
That's hysterical.
Of every vendor, every dealer, every smelter, every person that he had ever worked with. And I work with all of them now. They all love me. They like me more than him now. I give them more business.
So I'm interested because I saw something that you said the silver coated like metalwork pieces, and you said like you'd sell them to the smelter, like he buys them at a certain price. How does the smelter like actually work? Like if you know to your knowledge, like what is that like?
So the individual that I work with is I have one contact, like I'm very close with him, and I met him through Chuck. He works for a company in St. Paul, and the company just buys wholesale. You basically have to have an invitation to like do business with them, or like you need to be in the industry and like have a bullion license and like know somebody on the end to do business with them. But because Chuck introduced me, I had the end. So when I went on my own, I called him up. I was like, "Hey, just so you know, I've opened up my own shop. I have all the paperwork. I have all the licensing, and yeah, the smell. He's basically told me he works with me over him, and he calls me before he calls Chuck, and like, nice. I get some amazing. Not only do I sell stuff to this guy at prices that can't be competed with, because I've had other smelters from out of state find me on TikTok and try to approach me, and it's like, oh, no. The guy I work with pays 99 cents on the dollar. You can't compete with that. And I like that guy. But he calls me now when he gets people selling him silver, and he sells it to me. And this guy gets amazing pieces of silver. Most recently, he sold me 100 ounces of art pours at Spot. And each one of these they're 1 ounce bars, and each one of them was going for like $100 on eBay.
Good Lord.
I made thousands of dollars on this. It was amazing. I'm really, really fortunate to have all these like I said, like, Chuck gave me everything I need. It's a lot like what the CIA does. We train the rebels, we arm the rebels, and then the rebels hijack a plane and fly it into the World Trade Center.
Yeah. It's
this analogy on the Taliban.
Again, another tale as old as time itself. Like that really does happen. You strengthen this person, something goes wrong, and they just take all that strength and shove it up your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were presented the opportunity, like even like let's say he's like days from death, months from death, wanting to make amends, would that be a possibility?
50 grand.
50 grand?
I thought about this. I want a check for $50,000. I want Juliet to have a check for 100. If
Okay.
he says that and I get a apology from him and he says I was wrong, then I will forgive him.
So
I don't
what
think he's going to do that. I'm just
okay,
saying.
okay. Now, what if he sees all this business collapsing as you say it is, which I totally believe, because the second you exclude yourself from the internet, any and all growth like evaporates. Like it's impossible now. 10 years ago, maybe. 5 years ago, arguably. Right now, impossible. If he left you the business, how surprised would you be?
What would I do with it? I have my own business that is, as far as I'm concerned, more successful.
Cool. Inventory, sell the building. Inventory, sell the building.
Yeah, all I would do is fire sale all that shit for pennies on the dollar. Whatever I could get, I'd take. That's it. As far as the name goes, I'd like the deed to the name of the business.
Yeah.
I'd crumple it up and throw it in the trash. I don't fucking need it.
Yeah, no, of course.
This is toilet paper.
But would you be surprised?
So I have thought about this, and a tiny piece of me believes that he put me in his will and he just didn't amend it and does feel bad about it. I don't think so. Just because like basically what happened was when we had our final sit down, he had turned on me. It was hostility toward me, the likes of which he had never demonstrated, and I never thought I would see on his face. And it was so sudden and 180 and alien that I instantly recognized the whole deal as being like fucking untenable through and through. So for that reason, I don't think so. But maybe he knows that the woman that he was leaving everything to was clearly using him until he died, like blatantly did not love him, did not care for him, just saw him as a means to get some fucking money.
Like because I mean, people are aware of that. Like
when all this shit was starting to go south in December, she suddenly got this bee up her ass about getting him to pay off their cabin and put it in her name.
Oh no.
Like, and he did it. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, she's blatantly trying to milk you before you die. I had a thing with Juliet. I was saying to Juliet, if he dies in the night, we're going to fucking get an autopsy because I think she's going to put a pillow over his head. Speculation. I have to
speculation. Speculation, everyone. Speculation.
She was being like straight up like abusive to him. She got the thing that really made her go crazy. We had a Christmas party and she drove home drunk and we were like, don't drive home. We'll buy you an Uber. Don't fucking drive home on Christmas Eve. Sure enough, she got pulled over. She got a DUI. It was everyone's fault but hers. She somehow was able to like go home after the DUI. Like she got the paperwork. I think it was like happened like right outside of her apartment complex. Like, 95% of DUIs happen. But she's waiting for him when he gets home. I bought him an Uber home because he was drunk.
Uh-huh.
She's waiting and she fucking punched him in the face and was like, you weren't there for me. And like he showed up with like a black eye the next day and was like, I wasn't there for her. And I was like, my God, she abused you and she emotionally abused you into thinking that this was your fault, her actions. Like,
bro, I think this is the first case of elder abuse ever reported on the podcast. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
That is straight up elder abuse. Now,
I can't wait to write a book about this because I kept a diary and the details are crazy. I'm like, inevitably when I do these podcasts, this is probably the most I've run tongue-in-cheek telling about all this. But like, it's a crazy story, and it's just like I can't believe what I witnessed. It was just fucking like out of a book. Every day it got more ridiculous. The real crazy. At the height of it, like 3 weeks before I quit and everything collapsed, they went out of town. They went to Arizona on vacation, like because fuckface wanted to go see her sister and brought him with. And I had installed security cameras as like one of the first things I was doing when I was working there because they like basically didn't have any. It's like you guys gotta document everything that happens here. And on top of that,
your sign.
I'm not stealing from you by putting cameras in everywhere so you can watch everything. Well, I came in on a Sunday because I had so many fucking orders I couldn't keep up with it. And like it was my one day off, but I had to go in to do it to keep up with it. I'm there for like 5-6 hours doing orders nonstop. I leave. I had access to the cameras and I could tell when the footage had been viewed. And that psycho had gone through and viewed all the footage, like hours worth of footage on her vacation, watching to see if I'm stealing.
Oh my
Meanwhile,
God.
the week that they were gone was the most profitable week that we had had while I worked there. They gave us 20 grand in cash when they left. They came back to like 50.
Jesus
And that was a
Christ.
problem for them.
Jesus.
Just craziness. So anyway,
Now,
so I'm doing great on my own. I'm really happy that all this worked out, despite being really spiteful and just like angry about it.
good.
I'll
Honestly, you need to be. That's what pushes people until they get over themselves.
You know, and then success is the best revenge, and I have no doubt have great success. On my own, I've started to finally have like real success. My first 2 months on my own were not great. I lost almost 20K just keeping the business open and like, you know, buying shit and like, because it was so, you know, in this month that I set up, I was able to set up, and like what happened was I had a bunch of cryptocurrency that matured, growth, like just fucking took off. I made tens of thousands of dollars on cryptocurrency. I liquidated it. I took that money. I opened a business. I got a US bank loan. I had two of my TikTok followers cut me checks for 10,000 each, just to give me
shout out to them.
Yeah. I mean, another thing. It's like my following is so good. I have two strangers willing to cut me checks for 10K just to, like as loans, just to help me out. I had to sign paperwork. I'm paying them interest, but still, the fact that they were able, they never met me in their lives, and they want to help me to the tune of 10,000 is amazing. Two of them. So I had 50K to open the place up. And you know, it's getting better now, but like it was dwindling down for a little bit. It was getting kind of sketchy. It's recovering now. I have enough to keep running the business, and it's growing. But yeah, my first few months were pretty hairy, and luckily now it's turning around and I'm doing well. But when something big walks in, it's tough for me to buy it. Luckily, I do have one rich friend who has volunteered to be my bank to the tune of like 250K.
That's it right there.
Really expensive walks in, I can buy it, but I have to split the profits with him 50-50. And I just, you know, I don't want to do that in my business if I can help it. So
yeah, that's wild, man. So like going back to this girl, I literally have just one final question. It's like, is she like hot, or is this just like the only thing? Like, because like she's either really hot or just this is all he can get.
Definition of a beached whale, Karen.
Fuck, I knew it. Shit.
Barf. And like I've seen pictures of her when she was younger, and like,
was it better at least?
Oh no, woof.
Fuck.
And not just because I hate her guts, like actually a 2 out of 10 tops.
Oh my God.
No,
see, because
Ray
it's
Charles
always
would
that.
call her a 2 out of 10.
Oh no, not Ray. Because it's always that. It's always like they're like so unimaginably hot that it just doesn't make sense, or they're just like hideous. There's never an in between.
No, I mean, it's like, who let the dogs out? And who didn't put them down? Oh my God, euthanize me the job.
That's a joke, people. For legal reasons, that is a joke. We don't want to euthanize anyone. But no, it's always that. But so what is one of the more challenging aspects of running a pawn shop?
Just the cash flow. I spent $150,000 last month, and I don't have $150,000. I just cycled through all my money that many times over. I'm terrified that I'm going to get somebody bringing in 50 to 100,000 worth of gold jewelry, and it's like,
you can't do it.
I got to make a phone call. Excuse me, wait here one. You know, it's going to look really unprofessional. I have a 5-star Google rating. I'm like almost #1 right now in the Twin Cities, and all it takes is somebody writing something like that, calling me unprofessional, being like, you know, they didn't have the money to buy what I had. And then people like that won't come to me in the future, and that'll really fucking hurt me. Yeah. So it hasn't happened yet, but that worries me. Making a mistake worries me. Like I said, I had a almost $10,000 chain that came in today, and I did all the tests that I could. It seemed legit. I made the guy an offer. He said he was going to shop it, and I was like, well, look, if somebody makes you a better offer, get proof. I'll beat it. I'm really competitive. But the fact was, like, if that's a gold-filled chain, that would put me out of business making that kind of a mistake. And,
oh my God, I can only imagine.
Really, really, really nervous. Luckily, I mean, it turns out another dealer I know came through today, and he had heard rumors of that chain being shopped around town. And what he described, it was like clearly the same chain, so like it was good. So hopefully this guy comes back. But like, the chains make me nervous because they get faked. The 100-ounce bars make me nervous. Yeah, I can't afford to make a mistake right now. And I do make mistakes. I've made 2 mistakes since I opened up in April. It's July now. I bought a Morgan silver dollar for 125 that was fake. And
Oh my God.
I bought a gold bangle as part of a large gold deal, and that was fake. That was a $600 mistake. Luckily, the gold deal was profitable enough where I still made money on it, but like,
Yeah.
seriously cut into my profits. I cut my profits almost in half.
Yeah, that's bad. That's not a $10,000 chain mistake, but those are nice little slaps on the wrist to remind you, hey, fuckface, keep your eyes sharp.
It adds up. In 3 months of business, I've made $800 worth of mistakes.
Wow. Like I remember my first really big thrift was a pair of Yeezys that I found at a thrift store for like $20. And I just sat there for oh yeah.
Wait. You found Yeezys for $20?
Dude, a pair of pristine 320s or 380s.
Wow. How much was that?
I got rid of them for like 220, I think. Like it was amazing. Like I Googled everything. I'm like, oh, I think you got a filter or something. But no, you're good.
No, I'm sorry. I'm turning my oven on. That's just, don't worry about it.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But yeah, no, like it's like $20. I'm not gonna die, but I'm also not going to be stuck with the mistake of you got conned by some like dude that like who God knows where they came from. Like maybe they came from like a Chinatown like scam market or wherever the fuck they came from, and then just somehow found their way down to Alabama. Who knows? But I was like, if these are real, this is profit.
Right. Yeah.
Which they were. Which they were. Oh yeah, like it's not a gamble, but I mean this was me just starting out. It's like I'd be sitting on stuff for like 2 or 3 months and then it would sell and I'd be like, okay, that's great, but I would like if it sold sooner. Put it up there, double checked everything in the store, cross-legged on the floor. How do you verify Yeezys are real?
Excuse me.
Oh, you're fine.
Like
how do you verify? Yeah, how do you verify Yeezys are real? And then just put it up, 220. Guy buys it as I sleep, and just bam, right there. I was like, fuck. And it's like that really got me going. But alternate universe, they were fake. And then I was just like, well, maybe this isn't really worth it because.
Well, $20, you can't go wrong. I mean, my opinion of money has become extremely jaded since getting into this business. It's because it's like, oh, fuck, I lost $500, whatever. Versus 2 years ago, oh, fuck, I lost $500. That means I can't buy food for a month.
Oh, yeah. That's the same thing with cryptocurrency. Like, I think I'm I think like I'm down in like some aspects. I think I'm down maybe 3K on just a shit coin that I was playing around with.
It's up and down and up and down and up and down. Sorry, one sec. I've been sick in 5 years. I shared a beer with I didn't share a beer. A friend of mine came to a party on Saturday, and she had a beer that I'd never tried. I go, oh, that looks great. She goes, oh, you want to try it? She hands it to me, and I take a sip, and as I go to hand it back to her, she goes, oh, by the way, I have a cold. And I was like, why the fuck did you offer me your beer, you fucking moron? And yeah, but it's not COVID.
You got the Delta. You got Delta.
No, I was at like a jewelry store, like a jewelry like flea market on Sunday, and there was a Tiffany company box with a sterling silver dated 1995 bangle, and a bracelet, and a chain, and it was $80. And like, this is, I arrived at the flea market where like things have been picked over, and I'm like looking at it, I was like, does nobody know what the fuck Tiffany company is? This is like $200-$300. So I was like, how much? $80 sold.
One last question. What do you think would be a real good start? Like, how would someone, like, they want to get out the 9 to 5 like you? Maybe it's not a pawn shop. Maybe it's something else. How would someone start that? What would be your advice on that?
Well, you have to look for an industry that you see room for growth in, that you can see how you might fit in as a cog and transform it. For example, with me in this industry, I basically married my old passions and my new prospects. My old passions being film, screenwriting, wanting to get into Hollywood, get into really anything to do with being a showman, whether it be writing or acting or anything like that. And then I fell into this business and I said, well, a great way to transform this business is social media. I looked around. My God, there's nobody with a really good stage presence who's doing this. I could fill this void. And I'm in the process of doing that. And I'm finding tremendous success since I started doing that. And really, anybody can do that with any industry, not just in terms of like growing on social media, but like if you can look at an industry where there's something lacking, if there's somebody not doing something yet, then perhaps you could be the individual to do it. You get rich by being the first one to do something or by being one of the early people into something. And it's really hard to find stuff like that nowadays because everything has been turned and turned and turned to death, especially with the internet. Yeah. But if there's a niche that is yet to be capitalized on, then jump on that shit because the iceberg is only shrinking to talk about, tie it back into climate change like we were talking about sooner. And you want to be the seal on that shrinking iceberg. You don't want to be the one in the water floating around trying to look for a spot.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, look, Evan, it has been fantastic having you on.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm happy to come back. Just let me know.
Absolutely, man. It was an absolute blast. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm on
social wise.
Not hard to find. I'm the PawnMan on YouTube, on TikTok.
All right. Well, hey, man, look, it was fantastic having you on, and we'll see you later, everybody. Bye.
I appreciate it, Brock.